Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, depending on your time zone and depending on when you are watching this. I'm James Innes, and this is my YouTube show, The Jobs Guru. And making his YouTube debut, this is my co-host, George Innes. Or as we prefer to call ourselves, Daddy-osaurus and Baby-saurus. Oh, bless. Actually, with this camera angle, you can't see our matching Daddy-osaurus and Baby-osaurus outfits in all their glory. But then again, maybe that's just as well. Anyway, so it is Wednesday, the 24th of June, 2020. I didn't say that already, did I? No, I don't think so. A little tidbit of trivia for you today, like I like to have each day. 7 years ago today, former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi was found guilty of, well, things I can't mention in front of my co-host here, actually. But he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. So theoretically, he should actually be coming out today. Of course, in reality, he never went to prison. No, he didn't. He never went at all. He just ended up doing some social community work instead. It's a funny old world we live in, isn't it? So, anyway, I'm delighted to see you all here for today's episode. So is George. I extend a very warm welcome to all those who have subscribed since the last episode. And if you haven't yet subscribed, then please do think about subscribing so that you don't miss out on the next episode. Today, George and I are going to be talking about practical tips for remote working and working from home. Well, actually, I'm going to be doing most of the talking, but he may well do some gurgling, some hiccuping, maybe even some screaming later. I don't know. We shall see. He's normally a very good-natured chap, actually. So if you have any questions or comments as you watch, then do please type them into that comments section below. And if you like what you see, then do please hit that YouTube thumbs up. So, in a nutshell, whether you like it or not, working from home is here to stay. And so I'm going to be taking you through some practical tips to help make it work for you, a particularly topical topic, not least because I'm sitting here on the sofa at home and with a dribbling baby in my arms. First, some background. Although in the UK, employees have had the statutory right for some time under the Flexible Working Regulations 2014, when I say some time, I obviously mean since 2014, to request flexible working, and employers are obliged to give this fair consideration. Many employers have been very resistant to this, very reluctant. Requests for working from home have been denied, and employees have had to continue working fixed hours in the office. There hasn't been much progress, and, this is the whole issue here is a healthy work-life balance. Now, fast forward to the current coronavirus crisis, and many of those very same employers, they have effectively been forced into putting in place he agrees with me, have been forced into putting in place flexible working procedures in order for them to survive. Now, for some people, particularly those who were fighting for the right to work from home, the transition has been relatively seamless, whilst others have struggled with the various cultural, technological, logistical challenges. Now, as someone who has been managing an international business employing a team of what I call digital nomads around the world for many years now, I've proven that working from home can be hugely successful. It has benefits both for the company and for the individual employees. I mentioned, improved work-life balance. There's increased flexibility, reduced costs for the business, zero commuting costs for the employees, no lost commuting time, and commuting can be very tiring too, can't it? And last but certainly not least, a substantially lower carbon footprint, which is important for the future, isn't it, George? Yeah, very important. Yeah, okay. Achieving these benefits and making that transition can obviously take time, and it's important to remember that any kind of change can be unsettling, and that while some people might adapt straight away, others may struggle. And this can have a dramatic impact on mental health and well-being, so it's vital to take proactive steps to take care of yourself. Humans are naturally resistant to change. We typically prefer the status quo. It's our instinct. It's just the way we are. So here are my practical tips for making remote working work for you. Tip number 1. Get tech savvy. Sounds obvious, I know, but familiarizing yourself with the technology you're going to be using is vital to the success of remote working. Well, why? Well, communication. You need to be able to get in touch with other members of your virtual team quickly and easily. Collaboration. Team projects rely on each team member being able to share their information and resources electronically. Productivity. You can only work efficiently if the technology allows you to. I think we can all relate to that one. Well-being, having appropriate technology in place can help you to maintain a better work-life balance. Now, you are dribbly today, aren't you, darling? During lockdown, platforms such as Zoom, Discord, Google Meet, they've been great for bringing people together, not just personally, but also professionally. It's important to recognize that your employer is responsible. They're the ones who are responsible for ensuring you have the necessary equipment to perform your role effectively and productively. And this includes technical support, as well as access to secure networks in order to alleviate potential security risks. Cybercrime, you might have seen it in the news, it's increased significantly since lockdown was introduced. So this is particularly vital. I did say there might be some gurgling. Yeah. A recent survey showed that 68% of employees not usually allowed to work remotely reported that they have been equally or even more productive working from home than they are in the office. You can guarantee that these people have the right technology in place. Is it the dummy we need? Yeah, sweetie? There we go. So, tip number 2, routine is key. Putting in place a clear structure and routine is so important. It's very easy for your work life and personal life to cross over when you're working remotely, working from home. So you should do everything you can to keep the two separate. Set your alarm for the usual time. Ditch the lockdown loungewear and get yourself dressed. I mean, not necessarily completely suited and booted, but, to actually get dressed. Don't lounge in your pajamas all day. Find a productive way to use what would have been your commute time, perhaps. Maybe some exercise. More about that one in a minute. Set up a designated workspace, preferably one with a door that you can firmly shut at the end of the working day, or if you have kids, during the working day. Take my word on that one. And do plan what time you're going to finish work. Don't just let your work drag on into the evening, something I'm often guilty of, but, do fight against that one. Tip number 3. Drop the dummy. Tip number 3, take regular breaks. I know from personal experience, it's so easy to fall into the trap of being constantly available when you're working remotely. But it's so important for your own well-being that you take regular breaks and use these to, just get away from the screen, move around a bit, get some fresh air, and stare out the window, read a few pages of a book. Turn the music up and have a sing-along, Oh, are we tired now? It's hard work being a star. Or, just change a nappy or 2 nappies. I mean, this is not my only child of nappy-wearing age. It doesn't really matter what you do. Then just don't think about work for those all-important 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is. Tip number 4, get some exercise. Reminds me of the lyrics to Park Life by Blur. Yes, you're too young to remember that, aren't you? Who's that gut lord marching? You should cut down in your pork life, mate. Get some exercise. Yes, that's right. I digress. Sorry. One of the few positive things to come out of lockdown is that more people have been factoring some form of exercise into their daily routine. For many, this has been the one and only reason, that they've left the house at all for weeks. It's such a good idea. The benefits to both your physical and mental well-being are invaluable. So if remote working from home is going to be your new normal, then how about adding in 30 minutes of daily exercise and making that your new normal too? 20, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you'll soon see a difference. We good now? Yeah. Tip number 5, keep talking. Whilst you may find that emails and instant messaging are your most common methods of communicating with each other, other members of your virtual team I'm talking about, it's so important to have regular verbal interactions, whether by phone or video conferencing. It's so much more personal, more human, more direct than an email. But as I think we all know, text can often be misconstrued. With the all-important visual cues, tone of voice, body language, etc., stripped out, it's all too easy to send mixed messages. So if it's a tricky issue, a thorny issue, a controversial one, some form of disagreement, try to do it verbally if you can. Just, can we jump on a call and have a quick chat? It's vital to maintain positive relationships with your colleagues, even if you're not physically with them. Platforms like Discord can be used to host social gatherings. That's a great idea. A regular quiz, a virtual team drinks in the evening, maybe, not necessarily every night, but once a fortnight or something. Even a book club my employees have put together, which I think is a brilliant idea. Make sure this becomes part of your new normal too. So now, just shunt him up a little bit there. Gosh, my left arm's about to fall off. We're not far from the end of today's show. I'll be back tomorrow, all by myself. Thursday for the last show of the week. Remember, this show is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, each and almost every week. Just a couple more things. First, I must squeeze in some routine but important requests. Do please check me out on social media and connect, follow, or otherwise stalk me, but please don't troll me. Just nobody likes trolls. Do they, George? No, they don't, do they? If you have any questions or comments about this episode, about the show in general, or indeed about life, the universe, the shameless use of children in marketing and advertising, whatever, then do please let me have them below. If you like this episode, then do please hit it with the YouTube thumbs up. Okay. If you've already given me a thumbs up, then do think about subscribing and ringing that bell so you don't miss out on the next episode. No, I need my finger back because I need to ring the bell. Oh, what's that? Yeah, you see, Daddy's got toys too. If you've already done all of that, well then, George here and I, we say thank you, don't we, George? Oh, thank you. What was that? Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree entirely. Spot on, yeah. Finally, what is happening in the next episode? Well, I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a surprise. Okay. Just between you and me and these four walls, I haven't actually decided yet what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I just haven't had the time. Too many damn nappies to change. So we shall see. But I do very much hope you'll tune in. That's all we've got time for today. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.